Let's take a look at lesson 6.7. We're going to be learning about multiplying a whole number by a unit fraction. Remember, a unit fraction has a 1 in the numerator. So it says the lunchroom at Mandy's school serves pizza every Friday. Each slice is 1/4 of a pizza. Mandy eats one slice every week. So every week she eats 1/4 of a pizza. To find the fraction of a pizza she eats in 3 weeks, you can add or multiply. So in week 1 she eats 1/4, week 2 she eats another 1/4, week 3 she eats another 1/4. By week 3 she's eaten 3/4 of the pizza. That's adding. Or you could take it like this and say, well, she eats 1/4 of a pizza each week. There's 3 weeks. 3 times 1/4 is 3/4. And if you wrote it something like this, it would be 3 times 1 is 3, and then 1 times 4 is 4, or 3/4 of the pizza. Now let's take a look at the same problem. We're going to just add on to it. What fraction of a pizza does she eat in 5 weeks? And here's a model. So each week she eats 1/4 of the pizza. So 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. In 5 weeks, she eats 5/4 of the pizza. Or you could write it 5 times 1/4. 5 times 1 is 5. You bring the denominator 5/4. But we don't normally say I ate 5/4 of the pizza. Normally we change this fraction into a mixed number. You say I ate 1 1/4 or 1 1/4 of the pizza. All right? So why don't you try this problem right here. What fraction of a pizza does she eat in 11 weeks? Follow this model here and solve it for 11 weeks. First add it and then multiply it and see what you get. So pause the video, solve that one. All right. Now down here, problem number 3, 2 times 1/3. It says draw a model for each problem and then solve. So when I look at this problem, I see 2 times 1/3. I have 2 1/3s here. 2 times 1/3 is 2/3. So how would I draw that? Well, I would first draw a fraction bar, divide it into 3 parts, because that's what the denominator tells me to do, and then I would shade in 2 of them, because there are 2 1/3s. This is 1/3, and this is 1/3. Okay? Let's do this problem. 6 times 1/5. Again, the denominator is very important. It's telling you divide the fraction bar into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I need 6 of them. Okay? Because 6 times 1/5. So there's a fifth. That's 2 1/5, 3 1/5, 4 1/5, 5 1/5, and 6 1/5. So 6 times 1/5 is 6/5. Or it's 1 whole and 1/5 of another one. So 6/5 or 1 1/5. Here's 10 times 1/8. Okay. I have telling me again, divide the fraction bar into eighths. And then I need 10 1/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So 10 times 1/8 is the same as 10 eighths. Or if I wanted to write it as a mixed number, 1 and 2 eighths. All right. So that's multiplying a whole number times a unit fraction. See? Whole number, unit fraction, whole number, unit fraction. All right, now it says draw a model for each fraction, then write each fraction as the product of a whole number and a unit fraction. So we can draw a model for that. 3/5 equals, well, how many 1/5 are there? Well, there are 3 1/5. 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 gives you 3/5. So I'm going to write 3 in here because if I multiply 3 times 1/5, I get 3/5. Over here, I see this is divided into thirds. How many 1/3 are there? Well, there are 8 thirds, or 8 1/3. So again, I'm going to write 8 thirds as the product of a whole number and a unit fraction. How many sevenths? How many 1/7 are there? There are 12 1/7. Because 12 sevenths is the same as 12 times 1/7. All right. Now let's work with a word problem here. It says the lunchroom at Joe's school serves sub sandwiches every Thursday. Each slice that he gets is 1/6 of the sandwich. Okay, and he eats 2/6 every week. So when he comes in, they make a sandwich, they divide it into 6 equal parts. He eats 2 of them, 2/6 of the sandwich. So it says, what does Joe eat in 3 weeks? So now we're not multiplying by a unit fraction anymore. We're just multiplying by a fraction. So let's see. Week 1, he eats 2/6, right there. Then the next week, he eats another 2/6 of the sandwich. In week 3, he eats 2/6, okay? So it's 2/6 plus 2/6 plus 2/6 equals 6/6. I wrote it as a sum of fractions. And 6/6 is the same as 1 whole. Or over here, he was eating 2/6 of the sandwich each week for 3 weeks. 3 times 2 is 6/6, or 1 whole. Okay? So use this same technique. What fraction of a sandwich does Joe eat in 5 weeks? You know, each week he's going to eat 2/6 of it. So how much would he eat in 5 weeks? Write it first as a sum, and then as the product of a whole number and a fraction. Not a unit fraction, just a fraction, 2/6. All right, let's drop down here, draw a model for each problem, and then solve. You have 4 times 3/8, and I'm trying to show here that you can write a whole number as 4 over 1, okay? So we need to draw this as a model and then solve it. 4 times 3/8. All right, so the denominator again, super important. It tells me how many parts the fraction bar has to be divided into, 8 parts, and we're going to make 4 groups of 3/8. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 1 fraction bar. And I've drawn 3/8 right here. 1, 2, 3. This represents 3/8. I need 4 of these. There's 1 group of 3/8. 1, 2, 3. There's another group of 3 out of 8. Then I had to go over to the next fraction bar with this one. 1, 2, 3. There's another group of 3/8. And finally my 4th group of 3/8. 1, 2, 3. So it's 3/8 plus 3/8 plus 3/8. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 times 4 is 12/8. 4 times 3/8 gives me 12/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4 times 3 eighths is 12 eighths. Okay? See if you can do these problems as well. For 11, 12, and 13, draw a model, just like I did, and then solve it. For this one, you're going to draw fraction bars and make groups of 5. Okay? You're going to make 2 groups of 4/5. In this one, you're going to draw the fraction bars in thirds, and you're going to make 5 groups of 2/3. All right? And then down here, we don't have to draw models, we just solve it. So 8 times 3/4, you're making 8 groups of 3/4. 8 times 3 is 24/4. Why? 8 times 3 is 24. The denominator stays the same. Okay? So this one you don't have to do a model, just multiply it out. And here are some word problems. 5 members of the Sanchez family each drank 3/4 cup orange juice for breakfast. How much juice did the family drink for breakfast altogether? There's 5 members, each one of them drank 3/4. Denominator is super important, tells me, hey, you need to divide the fraction bar up into fourths. So there's there's a fraction bar in fourths. I need to make 5 groups of 3/4. So 1, 2, 3. There's a group of 3 out of 4. So it looks like I need to draw some more here. Here's another group of 3/4. 1, 2, 3, right there. Okay. Each time I draw a fraction bar, I need to make fourths out of it because that's what the denominator says. 1, 2, 3. I need another group of 3/4 right there. Here's a group of 3/4. Okay? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I just need one more group of 3/4. 1, 2, 3, right there. Okay? Each one of these all the way up to there. Okay? So if I take 5 times 3/4, that means I've got 5 groups of 3/4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gives me a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15/4. All right, so there's my model. And to solve it, 5 times 3 is 15/4. All right, see if you can do that for the next problem. Remember, this time you're using a fraction bar that has 2 parts, and you need to make 7 of those. 7 1/2. All right, down here we have a banner has a length of 3 yards and a width of 2/3 yard. So the length is 3 yards and the width is 2/3 yard. We're going to have to write an equation and then solve it. So we're trying to find the area of the banner. To find the area, you multiply the length times the width. So A equals 3 times 2/3. See if you can figure that out. 12 members of a volleyball team had a pizza party. Each pizza was divided into 8 equal slices, and each player ate 3 slices. Each player, there was 12 of them, ate 3/8 of the pizza. what fraction of the pizza did the team eat altogether? So the equation is, okay, P equals 12 times 3/8. Figure that out. It took Ellie's mother 1/6 hour to drive him to school. Sorry, Eli's mother, 1/6 hour to drive him to school. It took Alex 4 times as long as this to walk to school. How long did it take Alex to walk to school? The equation is W equals 4 times 1/6. And then on the last page, there's a few more problems. I'd like you to remember to write an equation first and then solve it. Don't worry about what's the error.